Carl and Brendan here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for sure, and we're going to have a little chat about Incineration Fest. As of the time of recording, we are, what's it? It's 7, 8, well, 8-ish days, 8 and a bit days away from the festival taking place. The one-day festival that takes place within London, in Camden specifically, spread across 4 venues: the Electric Ballroom, the Underworld, the Black Heart, and the Dev. All 4 venues that everyone who has frequented Camden plenty of time should be very familiar with. Effectively working our way down in size there as well. Electric Ballroom being the bigger one, and the Dev being, well, it's a pub. It's a pub with a stage at the back, so not that big at all. Incineration Fest. Let's start with an obvious question. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I always look forward to it. It's like it's the most local thing. It's a bit of a strange thing because like it's a festival, right? But like it doesn't feel like a festival because it's like just round the corner to a degree, and like in pubs that we frequent and venues we spend quite a lot of time in. So it kind of just feels like you're at, I don't know, gigs. It doesn't feel like a massive like festival environment. Do you know what I mean? Like in the truest sense of the word. But we've been a few times now. I've never not had a good day. You know, there's been days when it's been more challenging, or you know, we've seen loads of bands there that I haven't known, and then like we've watched them, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. And it's also like, you know, I mean, really, what you're doing, what you do, you're day drinking from about midday in London,
Yeah,
watching loads of different bands play. But like, you know, what's not to like?
it
Yeah,
is. It's a perfect day for us, really.
yeah. So I am looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I think the lineup overall is pretty strong in regards to what I want to see and what I can see. In fact, you know, when the stage splits came out, I realized I could spend the whole day in the Electric Ballroom, just that stage, and come away very satisfied with like what was on stage, you know, particularly as well because of course, you know, with the smaller stuff like the Black Heart and the Dev, there's no kind of guarantee that size-wise you'll even be able to get to see certain bands and things like that. And we kind of learned last year with our experience last year, was one of our strongest ones where we were like, you know what, maybe don't stress too much about this if we're not, you know, and just take a more comfortable route. And I think we had a better time for it. I
Yeah.
think like the busiest probably point we probably got last year was Rotten Christ in the ballroom, I think
Mm.
maybe.
Yeah, I think that was the busiest in terms of the crowd.
At least it felt that way anyway.
Yeah.
And there'll be some busy points here as well. I think one in particular in the Electric Ballroom would be my kind of pick for the busy Rotten Christ style experience and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I kind of almost right. Rather than going through like each of the 4 stages, 4 venues, and say, do you know this band? Do you know this band? Do you know this band? That's a bit irrelevant more than anything else.
Hmm.
Tell me what your day would look like. Like what you, I don't know, have you got the times and the times and all
Yeah,
that?
I've got
Right,
the
cool.
times.
So work starting from the bottom going up. Tell me what your day would look like. I want to see how close it would
All
be
right,
to mine.
all right. I mean, look, before I do though, let me just say that, like, obviously, you know, my plan and your plan and most people's plans for a day like this is that doesn't matter if I don't know like the first bands that are coming on. I'm still going to be up there at the earliest possible point. So therefore, I might be checking bands out because there's bands on. It's the first one of the day, not because I'm like, oh, I'm such a huge fan of this band. I might not even know them. And actually, I would start then straight away with Anti-Inferno, even though I don't actually really think I know them. But they're the first band that play in the festival, 12:30 at the Underworld.
Of course.
Um, so, you know, it's kind of like kicking the day off, right? Isn't it? You know, you kind of get up there for whatever, 11:30, grab a beer, cross to the Underworld, catch the first one, probably leave that 10, 15 minutes earlier to make sure that I can then get into the Black Heart for Burner. So Burner till 1:50 in the Black Heart. It's an early one still, right? You know, so I'm still thinking like it ain't gonna be too much trouble, hopefully, in terms of a crowd. That's what I'm banking on. I
Mm.
think they're a band that are growing in popularity, right? So you'd imagine a fair few people would probably have been happier to see them a bit further down the lineup, I think. But so yeah, so that's my kind of morning sorted. It's like you know, so
Yeah.
we kind of get up there, have a beer, 2 bands back to back, and then kind of go from there. So after that, the next thing I'm probably interested in, then like I definitely need to see is Winterfilleth or
Mhm.
Winterfileth. Um, you know, there's a bit of a gap in between that, so it's one of those things where I go and grab something to eat? Do I go and check another band? Do I take 20 minutes out? You know, whatever it might be. But I think the plan would be to be in the ballroom then for 2:30.
Mhm.
After that.
Mm.
I think Wallowing
Mm.
would be the next one, back at the Black Heart.
Yep.
That's 4 p.m. So again, you're talking like there's a 45-minute gap there, and it's a kind of like what do I do in between? Sometimes the in between will just be filled of, oh, that's the nearest venue. I take a quick like look in there, see who's playing, watch 20 minutes of it. Or sometimes it might be chill out for a bit, or it might be get some food, you know. But yeah, so Wallowing would be my next one. That brings us up towards 5 o'clock. Um,
Does.
Strange one for me from here, really, because I'm not massively bothered about Carpathian Forest.
Yeah.
I've not seen them before. I don't think I have anyway. But I'm not that bothered. So it would either be, what would I do?
Well,
Maybe
they're
check
playing
out.
the same time as Wallowing.
uh oh yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
for
Oh, in
yeah.
that
So
case,
it's a miss
yeah,
completely.
in that case, ignore me there completely then.
Yeah.
So it's after Wallowing then. So what are we talking about? 5 p.m.
Yeah, 10 to 5 they finish, so 5 p.m. Yeah.
It's a difficult time on this one for me because I want to be in I want to see Belfagor,
Yeah. So you've
you
got
know. So
35 minutes.
but it's what again? It's that what am I doing? Am I because you're talking like what am I going from the Black Arch Electrical Ballroom? It's a 5 minute walk,
If
if that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you know, assuming you can walk straight in,
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. And how straight you're actually walking at this stage.
absolutely, yeah. Especially as you're talking 5 o'clock in Camden on a Saturday, so it ain't like we're the only people bowling around. Trying to get through the crowds itself can be an interesting feat sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know in between that, to be honest with you. Wallowing for sure, Belfagor, maybe something in between, but I don't know. If it was something in between, potentially the one that I think I'd be most interested in would be Malediction.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah, that'd be
but
yeah,
it's
that's
an
right in
awkward one,
between.
right? Because it's walking away, like it's walking down to the dev, away from the ballroom, and then back to the ballroom. So it's just trying to work out whether you can in the times and stuff. After Belfagor,
6:25.
6:25. Uh, Oh my Lord, it's getting into difficult territory here a little bit. I mean, the obvious one to say is Conan because they're on at the Underworld at
Yeah.
that time, and it's going across to check them out. So I'll go. All right. I'll go with that. I'll go with Conan.
Mm.
Um, then this is where things get difficult for me because I'm thinking the band that you think will be the most sold out is the next band at the Ballroom. And also that's a band that I also would want to see if I'm there. But I also would
Yep.
like to see Abduction as well.
Yeah, it's bullshit that
You
clash, isn't
know,
it?
yeah, it's probably the worst one of the whole piece where it's two direct times. Like not even like oh I can catch 10 minutes of that and then go across there for 10 minutes of there. So that one might be one where I do half and half.
Mm.
Where I go into see Anonathrak in the Electric Ballroom, and if it is absolutely crammed and uncomfortable and all that, I watch 20 minutes of it and then I go right, let's go and catch the back end of Abduction. And then I get to Abduction and find out that we can't get in because it's too busy. And then I go back to the ballroom and we've missed the end of Anonathrak. That's probably what will happen. Um, and then, so we're talking at 8 p.m. now. I think I would like to probably try and get down to the Dev then after that to see Anakin.
Mm.
And then, of course, in terms of a headliner, Amorphous. But how much of Amorphous I watch will depend on how into it I am when I'm watching it and the state I'm in at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
Okay, I mean that's pretty well planned out, well thought out. There is a lot of that pre-festival where you're definitely gonna go and see so many bands, but realistically, when you're there and the tight times and the leaving early and getting to certain venues means it probably won't quite work out that way. But you already know that, and I know that as well because mine follows a very similar, and we are actually really quite matched up here. And you're right, Anti-Inferno, 12:30. We're going to go on and see a band to start the day off, but I am talking about, to me, just watching a bit of it really more than anything else, and then getting to the Black Heart for Brrraaains. Now, I am genuinely in the belief, and that I think the Black Heart this year is too strong. I think it's got some, but I think it's probably where we'll struggle the most to get into and just go, So I already have resigned myself to not seeing many bands that I want to see in there and just accepting it as it is. And truth be told, if I don't see Burner at at Incineration Fest. They're at several other festivals this year, including Bloodstock. So there'll be more than enough chances to see them. But that is the idea. Hopefully Burner, and then after that they end at 150. Ideally, I'd like to then go see a bit of corpsing at the Dev. That is 150 to 230. Watch a bit of corpsing in the Dev, and then also go over to the Electric Ballroom for Winter Phylith as well, on my list to see. That brings us to 315, and I think I was kind of thinking, okay, chill, relax, and try and get in there for wallowing. Again, I'm expecting it to be busy in there. So whether or not I can get in there or not, or feel comfortable enough in there, I do not know. We shall see. But it is wallowing. There's always opportunities to see them live again. But I'm hoping to, like with wallowing, more than anything else. So presumably I'm in there for that. Yeah, it was, they're playing against Carpathian Forest. I would have been interested to see Carpathian. Well, I suppose that's what's going to happen. If I can't get in for wallowing, just go watch a bit of Carpathian Forest instead then, because at least I know I'll be able to get in the ballroom. 450. That's where, yeah, that was kind of the similar thing where I didn't really have too much in mind, and it might be a, who knows, say food, relax, take a breath, that kind of thing. If we're feeling it, a bit of malediction in the Dev, but beyond that, I'll also be looking to do Belphegor too. I don't think I've ever seen them live, and I'm like, I must have run into them at a festival or something like that, but you know, I don't think I have.
I'm pretty confident I haven't. So yeah.
And that brings us to 625, similar kind of gap. I have looked at Conan, but it'll be a choice between, I think Conan is going to be one of the more popular bands in the underworld in the day. So it's one of those where by the time, if you stay to Belphegor right to the very end, Conan have started. And there's a high chance we may not even be able to get into it. So that's a, we'll see how we feel kind of situation. But as well, Conan finishing at 7:10 and Al-Nakarath start at 7:10. So it may simply be, oh, just miss them and hang around for an Al-Nakarath. Now, while I do have a similar interest with reduction as you, I am leaning way more towards to just doing the whole Al-Nakarath. I do think it's probably going to be where the ballroom is at most popular. But then I'm kind of, I have this all the time. Well, I think something's bigger than it actually is. And there's a reason why Amorphous are above them in this, like, so I mean, like, so it may not be quite what I think it is. I kind of put an Al-Nakarath on the same level as Rotten Christ and all of that. But maybe I'm wrong there. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Amorphous, like I can understand Amorphous being the headliner above them. I think they're a bit more all-encompassing in terms of genres. You know, but in theory, pull in a slightly more mixed crowd, which generally sometimes means more people. So I do get that. So I don't know. I don't know. It is a hard one to call. I mean, I'm also expecting Belphegor to be quite busy because, again, in my opinion, that's a massive band. You know, so it'd be interesting to see it, but.
Yeah, following that, that's 8 o'clock. I also wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Anakim. You know, it's still playing 50 minutes in the Dev. There's a good chance we're able to catch a bit of that as well. And then we kind of reach this point. You said Amorphous, but I am, and I'm going to call it on the night. You know, what I mean, if like on the night more than anything else. But I absolutely adore the Sun's Journey Through the Night, who are on at a Black Heart at the same time as Amorphous. But I am expecting a Black Heart to be rammed for that. I really am. So I'm kind of resigned myself to not being able to get in there for that unless I'm there early and stuff like that. And truth be told, that I may not push myself this late in the day after X amount of drinks. I'll probably mentally be more like, no, it's cool. Let's go chill out, watch Amorphous and stuff like that. And that brings us, regardless, whatever I do, you know, up to like 10 o'clock, really. I don't know if I'm too bothered about seeing like Butcher. But you know, if I'm feeling it, a little bit of Slime Lord of the Dev, I don't know. But either way, I think over the day, I'm looking at least 5 to 6 bands over the full day that I'm definitely going to see.
Yeah, it's a solid day, and like you said, like we're calling out the bands we like. There's a lot of other bands in here, many that I haven't heard of before. That if I can't, like you know, you said for example, if you can't get into Burner at 110, the likelihood is we'll probably go and watch Fen.
Fen, yeah.
So it's, you know, it'll be like, and that's absolutely fine. I don't know who Fen are, but that's all right. I'll go and watch them instead. So you know, there's the good thing about this festival is that thing, you know, like you go to catch one band, not going to happen. 3 other places, literally within yards of each other. Just go in and watch another one.
And hell, if you don't want to listen to some music, just go sit in a pub. There's plenty of them around as well. It's a good day out, and this will be the 4th year we're doing it. So I'm really stoked for it. Really, really looking forward to it. It's kind of like it also signals like it's the first major event of my annual leave, and I got most of May off. So I'm super like, oh, let's do this. And it falls.
It's not, but it's like the start of summer, like music season. You know?
Yeah. It's the first. Yeah. It really does feel that way. Plus, it's mine and my wife's wedding anniversary again on that actual day. So there you go. What a better way to spend it. Anyway, that's our day plans for Incineration Fest. Are you going? What's yours? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.